Hello everyone. Today I want to share some reflections on last month. I had started vlogging at the beginning of March with the intention of vlogging for the whole month. Part of me was inspired to capture the beauty of spring as it arrives. I also had the craft fair that I was preparing for, the Yours Truly craft market, but most of all I wanted to document the time spent with my cat Uzi, because I've talked about this before, but we found out in February that he was really sick. We've been dealing with the realities that we don't have that much time left with him. So entering March, I really just wanted to spend as much time as possible with him. And I entered the month really hopeful that things could improve, but it was like a roller coaster between feeling hopeful and then feeling really sad and grieving the fact that I would have to say goodbye to him. If some of you follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen that Uzi did pass away last week, and it's been really hard for me. I miss him a ton. I actually wasn't sure if I should even make a video this week because I needed so much time to just kind of sit with everything, but it's been very challenging for me to process everything. It's probably been one of the hardest things I've ever gone through, honestly. I was very close with him. I do want to honor Uzi in every way that I can. I also want to let you know that I am doing okay, or at least I'm doing a lot better than I was doing all throughout the month of March, and especially compared to last weekend or this past weekend when I was dealing with the immediacy of not having him here anymore. So I started this vlog, and then towards the middle of the month, or I guess after the market that I did, I completely stopped because Uzi's health declined pretty rapidly and I just couldn't handle vlogging really. So it's not like a really full circle kind of a video that I'm sharing, but as I think about last month, I do realize that it was full of tons of love and tons of really beautiful moments. Like Lewis and I were able to get outside a few times as the weather started to get nicer, and that's one of our favorite activities to do for regulating. Ultimately, our priority was being at home with Uzi, and I do feel like I spent as much time as I possibly could with him, and that makes me feel good to know I really let him know that I loved him. But yeah, even though so much of the month felt extremely harrowing, I do feel like dealing with death helps connect. It makes me feel more connected to purpose, and it also just shines a light on the meaningfulness of life. I feel more connected to what really matters. I'm spending a lot of time thinking about love and friendship and art and nature. Even though I never finished this vlog, I wanted to share with you a few of the better moments from a really tough time. I'm not totally sure how I want to paint this table that I made out of various single-use plastic and cardboard. So I'm just painting it a base of gesso, and I'm going to think about what I want to do, if I want there to be some kind of decorative pattern, color story, that sort of thing. You got your fish? Shining in the sun. And even though last weekend felt like the worst weekend of my life, I also feel like there was so much to be grateful for, thinking about my last day with Uzi and Lewis, you know, like our last day with Uzi, we just spent the whole day with him. Over the weekend, we got to see lots of friends because everyone was very sweet and kind and came and visited us. And I really appreciate that. And also like all the messages and even just people commenting on the post I made about him. I was really blown away by how sweet and loving everyone was, and how everyone really does understand and get how hard it is to go through losing a pet who's like a family member. And yeah, that really like made my heart feel extremely big. The understanding of other people having also experienced that pain makes you feel very connected to the human experience, I guess. Some people messaged me that they also have lost their pets recently or are going through this. I just wanted to also say that I totally feel your pain and sending you love and strength, because it's so hard. It's just like a heartbreak, you know, that's really deep, and it's especially hard to like have the emptiness of the house. Some of the ways that I'm coping with it are, well, I'm reading these books. I'm reading, Drew just sat with me, so I'm kind of trapped right now, but I'm reading 2 books right now. The Pagan Book of Living and Dying by Starhawk, which I actually got from the library sometime last year, and I kind of started reading it, but it just like didn't really hit me in any kind of way, so I returned it without having read it. And now I'm reading it and feeling extremely connected to it because all of the messages are very relevant to me. I think this book is wonderful and I'm really into it, and I'm taking a lot of notes, and it's also inspiring me in a lot of ways, like artistically. I'm making a lot of sketches based on like the poetry and the different ideas in here. So this is one book that I'm reading that's really helping me. And then I'm also, I started this as well, which I have read before, and this has got me through tough times in the past, like with breakups, friendship issues, job issues, When Things Fall Apart by Pema Chodron. Never sure if I'm saying her name correctly, but this is a great book. I feel like I listened to a podcast. I listened to the On Being podcast with Krista Tippett, and she had Devendra Banhart on there at one point, and they talked about this book, and that's what inspired me to read it. And it's fantastic. And that podcast was also a very good episode as well. So I'm reading those 2 books, and they are really helping me get through the emotional stuff. What else am I doing? I also made an Uzi altar on a small table that we have. So it has some flowers, there's a photo of Uzi, there's some sketches. Like I had been trying to draw Uzi as much as possible throughout the month of March. It just felt important to me. So I have some sketches, and we have his catnip fish as well as his fish pillow on the altar. And also I had got him a bunch of stones and crystals from Earth Spirit, this like metaphysical shop in Red Bank, New Jersey. And he really liked a couple of the very specifically, he liked the fluorite stone and he liked the quartz stone. So I feel like those stones have been especially sacred to me, I guess. And those are on his altar, but I also like will give the stones a kiss when I feel like I really wish I could give him a kiss. Anyways, the altar has been helping me. And we have candles, but I did actually like burn through the candles that I had up there, so I have to get some more candles for it. Well, Lewis wants to build an actual like shelf altar space for a photo of Uzi, and then when we get his ashes back, we'll put that up there. But I want to have a little photo up on the wall at our entrance to our apartment, and also it's just kind of like overlooks our big space because we have kind of like an open floor plan. So I want to get a photo of him to have to always look at, one of the really precious photos. And I've just been going through photos every morning, getting really sentimental. He was 17 years old and I had him for 14 years. So I have like 14 years worth of photos of this cat, and through so many different phases of my life, and everything just feels so much more meaningful like looking back. I've been getting very emotional just like looking through all the photos, and I really want to print out yearly chunks of photos of him, but also just like print out my photos and make photo albums, just because I think it'd be good for me to have to reflect physically rather than on my computer or through my phone. That's what I'm doing right now to kind of help me get through. The first 3 days were really hard, and I feel like I was neglecting a lot of just like home maintenance, eating, forgetting to shower. Like, I was really upset. It's a little bit of a blur, and it's definitely like a surreal feeling, but I'm definitely doing better now and trying to just think about how I want to move through the world and what my intentions are going to be. Like, as much as it feels terrible, it also feels good to kind of get that shock wave through my system, to remember that life is really short and that I only have so much time, and I need to really be intentional about how I want to spend my life, basically, which is a gift. Anyways, I apologize for a kind of sad video, but that is where I'm at right now, and so I want to be honest about that. I think it's important to talk about the hard stuff as well as the inspirations and the fun stuff, but I think I'm in a good place of meaning and lots of love. I feel very much in the heart space right now, but I hope you're doing well out there. And if you're going through a tough time, just know that you're not alone. I'll be back soon with my normal kind of videos. I feel like I'm starting to become ready to need at least the distraction of, creative projects, and I definitely need to get back to work as well. But anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll be back soon.